playing in that tournament.
We still missing Morning?
I believe. I am not sure. It looks like Morning is not in. Maybe they're playing without him now.
Someone said if we lose, you're DQ'd. So is this just basically a show match at this point?
Yes. No, no. I doubt either of these teams would be too hard on the other, as they're very close scrim partners from what I hear. So this should be a pretty close match, and if it's not, that'd be pretty disappointing. Got a lot of expectations on this match. Is our cameraman Frank? What the fuck is this? True. And it looks like we finally got a match on our hands. North with Blink, Blonde, Huggles, Jay, and Imp. Inquisition with Gayfish, Marzi, Goodnight Gangster, Nat Hook, and Westifer. I'm not sure if this doesn't look like North's main roster, and from what I hear, if they're not playing main roster, this should be a very close match. And we see it break off into a 4v4 and a 1v1, and Gayfish with the early rotation in, and Westifer with an early pick. And Inquisition take a fast lead.
Yeah, both the halberds started dueling on the side at the start of that fight. They didn't really get to do much at all.
Yep. Anything interesting from either side's loadouts, or are we seeing just pretty textbook stuff from them?
Looks pretty standard. Spear, halberd, greatsword. Another greatsword. Is that an S-stock I see?
I am not sure. And we're into the second round, and we see just a full 5-on-5. And North taking a couple early picks with the halberd. And yes, that is an S-stock from Blink on North. And we see both of these rounds, whoever gets the first pick just sweeps through.
Yeah, Nathop got switched to by about 3 people there, and he kind of just instantly died.
I believe it's pronounced Nat Hook.
Nathok.
Nat Hook.
That's how I'll be saying it.
Interesting, we see no fire pots from either team. We've seen fire pots be used to pretty large effect.
We have a war axe coming out now on Jay. He's not able to do much right now though. His teammates just killed the guy he was fighting. Well, now
Really
he can start doing stuff.
spreading out in this fight. And we see it break off into a couple 1v1s and 2v2s, and North getting the better of them. Do you think there was a conscious decision to break that up, or did that just kind of flow out?
Usually it'll just happen.
Do you think either side would prefer that to happen? Is one side trying to keep it as team play?
I think probably on this map you'd rather just be together for the most part, because there's not much space in the middle, so if you can just stay together, you can always switch.
And we see it breaking up very fast into a 2v2 and a 3v3. Pick going either way, but now North takes a one-man advantage, and Jay just sweeping through with his war axe. Inquisition striking back 2v2, but looks like we have a flesh wound on the side.
No, it's a 2v1.
Goodnight Gangster with a stam advantage.
Not really much he can do there.
Yep.
The halberd can just sit back, you can't even really touch him, and the war axe will just run behind him, hit him in the back for 55 damage.
And we see North pulling ahead here. What does Inquisition need to change up?
I don't really think they need to change anything, they probably just need to, it doesn't seem like they're actually doing anything wrong, they just need to just play the fight better, basically.
Yeah. Just be better. Easy.
Just be better, forehead.
And we see him popping off with the halberd. 3 quick kills to put North to a heavy advantage, and they sweep through. Imp just standout player right now on this halberd. Cameraman, can we get a track on Imp in these next couple rounds? I want to see what he's doing right. slow start. Getting a little lost, and Imp, another halberd kill. And North just cleaning up after that first pick. And we see a little TK going on from Imp.
Yeah, the North halberds are doing a ton of work. The War Axe too, it seems, as well.
If your team is getting hit by a halberd this much, what are you saying in comms to try and stop these switches from happening?
Well, you can't really have anyone like go and just fight them solo because the map isn't big enough. Like, it's always going to be a fight. You just need your halberds, your spears, to make sure that they're always pressuring them with switches.
And we see one of Inquisition's players try and go light armor Zwei with a strong flank, but gets 2v1 and taken out quick. And it looks like Inquisition is trying to change it up a little bit, not getting much done in the 5v5. Do you think is this how you think they can come back, or do they just need to stick to the 5v5?
Well, it's hard to say exactly because I don't know the teams well enough to know like how good, like what the skill level is like as a whole, as a team. But I don't know. I don't think it's really worth splitting up or trying some weird flank strat. Just keep trying the 5v5. And
we see Marzi again with the naked Zwei. Not learning anything from the previous round, but this time he sits in that 1v2 for long enough. Team manages to take advantage. Now we're in a 4v2, but a quick pick brings it down to a 2v3. Now it's looking a little rough for our boy Jay on North. Getting some strong combos, but now flesh wounded. Anything you think Inquisition did to pull ahead in that one?
no, they just honestly just played the fight better.
And we see the power of that flanking Zwei if he could not die in the first 2 hits. Occupying a lot of time of the North players at the start of the round. LBM, in between rounds, can we get the scoreboard? And we see an early flesh wounded. Did they even need him? Already had a 6-2 advantage and bringing in the best 14-year-old in NA.
Yeah, that looked pretty decisive for North.
Yeah. North taking the first map 7-2. And we're moving to pit next. This time with Morning coming in. And you're saying that Inquisition is playing correctly and that you don't think they need to change anything, just play better?
Well, they're taking the fight, like basically exactly the same as North is. It just looks like they're just getting outplayed in the fight.
I mean, do you think that's fine? If you're getting outplayed in the fight to just keep going back the same way? Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Well, there's not really a lot they can do because, like, realistically, the only thing they can have is they have a guy run up the side with like a Zwei or like a halberd, anything long. But the problem with doing that is like they're already getting outplayed in the fight, but that means they're going to be starting the fight 4v5, which means the War Axe is free, the halberds are more free to do whatever they want. And it's probably just going to be even worse than just taking the fight.
Would you like to see a shield?
Not really. I mean, shield.
Do you think it would be helpful? I don't think anyone wants to see it.
It could be. I mean, 1-1-1 shield short spear right now is pretty disgusting. You can really put it on any player regardless of skill and they'll have a lot of impact on it. But obviously the one downside in going shield is that the person playing it like literally just isn't improving. You know, you're not parrying, you're not chambering, you're just holding RMB.
But you don't think it's worth doing that in an official match?
Yeah, it could be.
We see Inquisition pressing North pretty hard. This map is supposed to be very red favored, especially when they don't allow blue to step in.
Oh, Jay is winning a 1v3 right now, and this round should have definitely gone to Inquisition, but Jay got someone in flesh wound, and then another guy didn't parry, and then there was just one guy left, and his team mopped up other guy they were fighting, and then that was kind of it.
Yep. Did you like how Inquisition pressed north into this wall?
Yeah, this map, like specifically, a blue team spawn very far away from each other, and red team spawn together. So I'd say generally this map's kind of red-sided anyway, just because you just have way better spawns, and you can push way quicker. You don't have to wait for a guy who spawns across the map.
We see Blonde popping off of that Bardiche, getting an early 2 picks, so his team can just flow through the rest. And for a map that we say is supposed to be red favored, North getting the first 2 rounds, not looking great for Inquisition, in a game that was supposed to be the closest of the week. And we see the first fire pot of the match. We see Gayfish trying to 1v2 on the side, jumping onto the cart, but then immediately getting stabbed as he falls down. And North just cleaning up now. And we see Inquisition making little change-ups in the playstyle, but none of it seems to be landing. We saw a little bit of the flanker playstyle, now we're seeing fire pots. Frank, anything in specific you'd like to see?
Is the firepot row just one?
Yep, one fire pot. Yeah, okay. I was told by an admin that you're allowed to have an archer with fire pot, which some teams believe illegal.
August ran up to throw his firepot and he took a hit from the Bardiche.
But it doesn't look like it'll matter, as Nathook popping off with the first pick with a great sword. And then Goodnight Gangster just cleaning up.
Yeah, that was much more clean by Inquisition, apart from just that very start where the firepower got hit.
And we see a Maul coming out, not a super common weapon, and they did not start out with this. Do you think there's anything special about this, or this is just Marzi's firepot class?
It's because he's the one on the firepot, so he can take, like, you can just take Maul, try flank if you can. You get behind people and hit them, and they've taken 1 tick from the fire, they're dead.
We see Goodnight Gangster and Nathook winning their 2v2 first, and then just swapping through to the rest of them, turning it into a 4v1 for North. I mean, it's pretty easy when you win your 2v2s. Do you think this is the confidence Inquisition needs?
Yeah, these last 2 rounds have been really clean.
You see another fire pot that splits the team, but them not really following up on that. Do you think? And we see Blink punishing a out of range switch. Some early picks from Imp on that Halberd once again, cleaning up Inquisition.
Yeah, that looked like Nathic was trying to switch from someone, but he got hit in the back, and then as he turned around, he just got hit again. He kind of just went down really quick, and then it just kind of all snowballs from there, because no 1vx mechanic.
Yeah. And we see North really playing along their side, not even worrying about getting pressured into the wall. And another fire pot split, and they look to capitalize this time.
Yeah, they're going to go right side.
We see some good switches from Inquisition at the start. But North bringing it back. Jay and Blonde. 2v2, pretty hype round. We see it breaking off into 2 duels. Is this what the EU meta is?
No.
We see Westifer winning his duel first and then switching over. That's the downside of breaking off into duels. You just have to win them. Interesting enough, Morning joined, but is not playing. We see another fire pot.
This is a really good fire pot. It's probably done at least 100 damage. Maybe about 80.
Will they capitalize? They're not. Doesn't look like they're willing to step up that hill. Is North just gonna cop a quick regen?
Well, look where Hogwarts is. Hogwarts is on the top right. So if they push up, he just jumps behind them and stabs someone in the back of the head.
And we see them trying to push out. Some very good switches from Blink. And Imp with the second pick. Westford gets a pick, but not enough. Westford's team just crumbling while he's working on the side. And we saw some signs of life from Inquisition, but it looks like they're crumbling again.
It's still possible to win this. It's only 3-5. Still fairly close.
As the caster, you're obligated to say that. North pressuring in this time. Inquisition holding their high ground.
I'm not really sure why they're doing this.
I have no clue either. This is exactly what Yang said not to do. We see Nathook copping the 1v2 and falling first. And we just see chaos in the middle as North cleans up again.
Yeah, waiting at those hills like that at the start of the fight basically is just cause them to just lose footwork. Like, you can't really back up because you have to jump up the hill.
But
like
we've
on the
seen
rocks.
North playing like that every single round, except for that one. Is
Well,
that just confidence from North?
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not sure why Inquisition waited at the start.
We see another fire pot splitting it into a 5v4. And Marzi getting a quick pick into the 2v1. Can they win it fast enough? Not quite fast enough as North evens it out along the other side. And Huggles with that spear switching through. Just cleaning up. Mouse wheel up. Mouse wheel up. Gets a TK, but it doesn't matter. Second map goes 7-3 to North.
I think if it's Contraband next,
It is Contraband.
this is probably, if you're not going to win the pit and you're not going to win Tawny or really any of the other maps, then you're probably also just going to lose Contraband even harder.
Truly a map where the highest skilled team wins. Being able to play around this pillar requires triple-digit IQ, which we really struggle to see in the NA scene. Do you think North will bring in Morning if they actually have him?
He did join earlier. I don't know if he's left or not. But right now it doesn't look like he's joining. Same team. Not really much point. Like, if everyone's warmed up, why bring someone else in?
Fair enough.
Not sure what we're waiting for here.
Inquisition just a little slow to get out of the gates. Neither side looking to fight around the pillar. North staying very collected as they rotate around.
The map is very small now. When you fight in this part of the map, there is not much space to go.
So it's really all about the switches. You can't
Yeah.
separate into duels, there's just not enough space. And we
Yeah.
see North getting those switches. Imp on the halberd.
Yeah, you get one good switch, and like around that area, in like a halberd, and you probably do like 120 damage.
LBM, can we get Imp's perspective again?
Another downside of this is Inquisition is on like the fall off the map side if they get pushed back too hard.
See Imp getting into the 1v1 with the halberd. Halberd v halberd, and punishes the switch attempt. Wins his duel. Now looking to switch on with the halberd. And we get it into a 2v2 again. Will Inquisition win this one? Huggles wins his 1v1 fast. And just not much hope for Goodnight Gangster in that 1v2. We're seeing some life from Inquisition still. And no fire pot this time, even on a tight map like Contraband. See the initial clash. Imp with some strong hits, swings through the back line.
halberd too. Double kill.
Oh my. This man has been popping off.
Oh,
Oh no. That's just not good for morale.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Inquisition don't just like take the fight in the middle. Even if you have to fight by the pillars, it doesn't look like fun fighting here at all. It just looks hard.
Yep. I mean, sometimes that can be the motivating factor, knowing we can't back down. We have to push forward. And we see a bastard sword from Marzi, and finally a fire pot. But takes a quick hit and steps into a 1v2. Falling first. Inquisition gets a kill, but also a TK. Really, a round that feels like should be easy for Inquisition, and they still managed to pull it through. But looking a little sloppy there.
Especially now that they've got the fire pot. I really don't know why they don't just take the fight in the middle. They can literally block off like an entire way of the enemy team even pushing in, just with one fire pot, more or less.
We see them same position every time. You hate to see it. We see a fire pot, but North, calm and collected, backs away. Gonna sit and warm up around the fire before these teams clash. And we see a 2v1 for Marzi again. Can he hold off longer this time?
Imp got instantly taken out here by a switch from the long grip halberd.
But we see North popping back on the other side. 3v1. Every time it looks like Inquisition's about to pull ahead, North gets a couple quick kills to even it out. This game we're seeing Huggles on the spear, 8-1 and 4, pretty strong performance. We see another fire. North backs up, but Jay copping a little bit of fire damage. And Gayfish capitalizes. And he steps behind with the halberd. 3v2, can they win it fast? And they're winning. Winning on both sides, it looks like. Blonde with a strong performance, getting a kill in the 1v2, but not enough.
Gayfish got a really quick early kill with the halberd, and then he was just free to run around and do whatever he wants. He got 3 kills that round.
Very scary when the halberd steps behind. And we're seeing this fire pot very strong if used correctly. Makes you wonder why Inquisition didn't pull it out sooner. See another fire pot. Jay a little in front, cops a couple hits. Some strong switches from Pawn on the Inquisition halberd. And Imp with a TK. Gayfish a kill. And it looks like Inquisition up 5-2.
Gayfish has just been TK'd now though.
But we see a 4v1, very hard for Huggles. We see Inquisition coming back into the series. Looking strong on this. Marzi, once he switched to this Bastard Sword Fire Pot, really showing a strong performance. But they go back to the same spot. Are you liking it now that they're winning, Frank?
Oh, I still don't like it too much. I would honestly rather just take the fight in the middle and use the fire pot to just basically limit their space.
We see learning from these fire pots. Calm and collected, backs up. Now we switch over to the north side for the first time on this map. We see Pawn with an early switch. And a quick kill. Imp with another TK puts Inquisition at the advantage. And Jay into Flesh Wound. Pawn finishes him off. The 4v2 looking very good for Inquisition.
Yeah, we're tied now, 4-4.
Very, very exciting match this time. We're seeing really what Inquisition can bring to the table.
We have a flank from Huggles going around the back, but 4 people have come. He's now in a 4v1.
Fighting in between the columns. Strong fire pot, but North just pushes through. Imp with the first pick. Huggles and Jay to quickly follow. Finally, we see some fight that's not in the same spot, but the fire pot was too little too late, and yeah, North just pushes through.
They all funneled in after Huggles. 4 people went straight for him, went through the small, like, pillar you can jump on, and then 4 of the enemy team just came behind the entire Inquisition team.
And we're finally seeing Inquisition push through the other side. Very spread out fight. Firepot maybe doing a little damage to Imp here. Some strong switches. Blonde with the pick, Marzi with the pick. Even still, 3v3. And we see Inquisition pull ahead, Gayfish with the halberd kill. Can he handle the 1v2 while his teammate comes? And now we've broken off into duels. Halberd switch up from Gayfish. Ooh, another very good switch. Very hard 1v2 to win here. And Inquisition tying it up 5-5 in our 3rd map.
Gayfish is absolutely popping off this game.
LBM, can we get a perspective on Gayfish? Let's see what this halberd's bringing to the table. You see another flank from north. Inquisition getting really pushed back. Really fighting along the cliff. You see a fall from Pawn. This is exactly what Frank didn't want to see. That's just unfortunate. If you're fighting in that spot, you have to be aware there is well, there is no wall there. You can't get pushed back. Really disappointing. We see Inquisition, they push out, but then they go right back into their old habits, fighting in the same spot. And they need to win these next 2 rounds to keep this best of 3 alive, best of 5 alive. Gayfish going to 1v1 the flank, fake switches. Gayfish with some very strong switches. Oh. And just misses it. And we see disappointing results. North 3-0ing, sweeping Inquisition. That's just not what we came here to see, boys. We know Inquisition is a good team, and maybe next week, maybe sometime in the future, maybe we'll see a better match. Frank, any closing comments?
Not really. It seems like, I mean, maybe if this was like a best of 7, we might see like a game or 2 from Inquisition then. But because they definitely seem like they did get a lot better towards the end. Like Gayfish was popping off.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were really struggling in the early games.
Yeah, I mean that's North not even bringing their main roster, and Inquisition struggling heavily in those first 2 maps. LBM, any comments from our cameraman? Why was it not a fair fight? No? Happens. Yep. I mean, I think if we look at the brackets, I think Inquisition is probably favored in pretty much any of their matchups if they're going to be fighting one of the 0-1 teams.